Good evening and salutations, my B&B fans. Okay, so let's talk about Ridge's comment, what he wound up saying about Hope in front of Brooke, right? Because we talked about this in my live stream yesterday, and a lot of people were sitting there saying, well, Ridge was right. Given what Hope did, Ridge was right. Here's my thing that I'm having some pause with, right? Let's just sit there and say, for the sake of argument, that Ridge had a point. We've seen Hope's, how she moves and everything like that. Ben and Thomas and now Carter, right? And Carter was not doing all this before he decided to get with Hope, right? But here's my thing though. There's a certain level of disrespect that even Ridge had to sit there and be like, okay, yeah, I said this in the heat of the moment, and I probably shouldn't have said that. There's no problem. You just shouldn't have said that, right? People are sitting there saying what Ridge said, there's nothing wrong. And I'm like, either y'all aren't mothers, or okay. I'm already digging myself in the hole. You know what? I don't give a shit. Okay. Either y'all aren't mothers, or y'all would allow a man to sit there and say that to your own daughters. Now I know that's not the case. Okay. I refuse to sit there and believe that any person, any woman that would sit there and say that Ridge was right would sit there and allow their daughter to be disrespected by either somebody who they was going out with or the father of their children. So part of me was just like, what? Now people said this on the case of Brooke has said disparaging things to Ridge about their kids, right? So I guess two wrongs make a right. Seriously, this is what we're going with. Two wrongs make a right. Now I've only been watching this show for about 3 or 4 years. I don't know the other stuff that wound up happening before, so I can't sit there and comment and be like, well, the thing about I don't know. I don't know. I can't sit there and say that, but I just know that seeing a scene like that is out of pocket. And anyone that's just saying, well, she was right, he was right. Y'all basically sitting there okay in that shit. This is what we're doing. We're just okaying a man sitting there disrespecting a woman in front of their mother. This is what we're doing now. I know this is a soap opera, so I get. Well, it's not real, so it makes it okay. Maybe that's just me kind of taking it a little bit to heart. I mean, the thing is, when I do soap operas, when I talk about these situations, I understand that they're heightened, right? Like no one acts. Sometimes, for the most part, no one acts like that, right? Everything is very extra, so I get that part. But even if it is extra, there's certain anecdotes or whatever that you can sit there and take from these episodes of all four of these soap operas that you can sit there and apply it to real life. Okay? Because there are men that will sit there and disrespect a woman's daughter. And there are women that will sit there and come into the house and would disrespect a man's daughter or a man's child or whatever. So like or son. And so I get that part. But part of me was just like when I was listening to some people's responses, I was like, okay. So he did realize what he did. But he was like, hell, listen, at the end of the day, your daughter was the driving force to that. It gets to a point where it's so bad that Brooke starts to this is where Brooke messed up. Brooke starts to okay it. Brooke starts to sit there and justify. Well, if it wasn't for Steffi, they felt like they were back into the corner. And I'm just like, oh, here we go. Here we go. Brooke, this is where you lost me. Because now you're doing the same thing that Hope and Carter are sitting up there trying to convince Zende, well, we did this for the good of the company. By the way, whatever that description was on Monday, that was not true. Zende did not today walk out, take his stuff, got upset, and walked out. That's not what happened. He was like, yo, listen, this is a lot for me to take in. I understand lead designer and everything, but He's in a rough, he's in a tight spot. He is a four-star. He is a four-star at the end of the day. Yeah, he believed that stuff. He believed that Hope shouldn't have been fired, but like, what y'all doing is shady as all right? So, like, there is that. Um, it's funny in the beginning. Carter is looking at Hope pulling up the chair. She's like, you need to sit in this chair. This is where you belong. King of the castle. King of the castle, and what are employees are going to sit there and find? Because that's the $1,000,000 question. Hope is not there smiling like, do you not realize that Rich just walked out? Steffi is not coming in. So what are we going to do for employees? Did you? Part of me looks at this and it's like, this was a very crack-headed plan. Y'all are just going to take over the company and just assume that Ridge and Steffi was just going to roll over and be like, okay, we'll show up Monday morning. We'll be right there. Yeah. So I don't know how they thought that this was going to turn out. This is hilarious in general. And speaking of hilarity, let's talk about Remy. Creepy ass Remy. And the fact that Will's like, what are you doing here? Yeah, listen, you got your pizza, you delivered it, but we still got a business to run. So, and Remy being like, so what are you going to do saying? I can't see her. I mean, we're old friends. Well, I gotta sit there and give it to him because he has way more class than other people would have been like, get your pizza box, get your shit, and get the fuck out this goddamn office. Get the F about this place. Seriously. So he pretty much like, you can see yourself out. The pizza place, El Gino's or whatever, is busy. Most pizza boys don't just sit here and linger. Right? So it's time for you to go. And Electra's like, hey, listen, I great. I appreciate seeing you and thank you for the piece and everything like that, but I really do got to get back to work. We'll see each other outside of work. But right now, I'm an intern. I'm still learning, and I don't. It would be a bad look to me just kind of hang out and just kind of chill just because my family name is Forrester. I need to sit there and kind of, earn my position here. So, and Remy just gets really angry and really defensive and is like, oh, you don't want to hang out with me because I'm just a pizza boy. He just walks off. And Will's like, yo, I'm getting a really bad vibe with him. And Alex was like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? Here's the thing. I'm going to sit there and say, some women that are pretty have this naivete kind of attitude where they don't understand that if a guy is being extra, delivering you pizza and constantly just hanging around you, it's more than just they want to be your friend. It's more than just that. And so she has this very like, even when he was like, I'm getting the vibe and everything like that from him, and he just seems like he's kind of off. He's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, and she even says, listen, I just want you and Remy, just give Remy a chance, and she does again sit there and say to him, you know why I left, like, you know why I left where we were at to be here. So this is a really big deal for me, but. She's like, oh, I just hope that you and him can be friends. You're like, well, I'll give it a try, but I'm gonna be honest, your boy's a little off. To be honest, he's a little off, and I ain't feeling it, and I understand that. So he goes back to his lair at this point. Okay, and he's looking at pictures of Electra, or he has a picture of Electra on a deep fake. And let's just sit there and say there's a point where it says options for clothes being off. So, I mean, again, if he's not the stalker, I don't know who is. I mean, here's the thing. Even if he's not the stalker, let's just sit there and say for just shits and giggles, he's not the stalker. You still need to sit there and move that man from your life, okay? An exorcist, what do they call those things? A sage or something like that? You need to find a way to get this man out of your life because Here's the thing. As a man, okay, if we are being, don't get me wrong, and it's not to sit there and say there's times where I'm just friends with someone and I would just be friends and I'll look out for them or whatever and always be there for them and stuff like that as supportive. But if I'm going out my way, okay, this is where it does get a little kind of muddied because I've been friends with somebody where I know it's just friends and it's not going to go anywhere, and that's fine. I will talk to that person. I'll be there for that person. Um, and I may be a little extra attentive. I think that's just my natural personality. But yeah, now I'm thinking about it. It was like it's not. I mean, granted, the way he was going about it was just so creepy. Like you visiting this woman at work, you giving her some peace, you just kind of hanging out, just lingering around. Like she don't got work. Yeah, I'll sit there if we're friends from way back. I'll sit there and drop you off a piece or whatever. Like, all right, cool. Have a good day at work or whatever. But that's about it, though. If I know that they're with somebody, I'm not gonna like, hey, I'm not gonna make that person feel uncomfortable and mess up what kind of whatever relationship she got going on because I'm a friend. You know, there's a boundary. Even as a man, you'd be like, hey, listen, that's because you wouldn't know. I wouldn't want somebody doing that to me. I wouldn't do that to somebody else. Remy seemed to just skip that goddamn class. So this is pretty much where we are. Now I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a live stream tonight. I'm going to be honest. It's already like 7:19. I still have this review to put out. I already did my Days of Our Lives review, but that's going to take some time. And I'm going to be honest, I do got to wake up early in the morning. Um, so I don't know. There's a good chance I'll probably wind up canceling tonight's live stream just because it's already 7 o'clock. Actually, to tell you the truth, it's 7:20, and I would want to do my live stream at 8 and be done by 9 because. I just sat there and say yesterday I did not go to sleep one time, and granted I stayed. I woke up later than I wanted to, but I know if I had to wake up at 4 o'clock, 3:45 in the morning, I can't afford it. Like I can't afford it. Um, but on the positive side, I did actually do a 4 today. I did actually sit there and say F the algorithm. I think that's because I knew I was probably not going to be able to do 4. I was not going to be able to do a live stream tonight, so at least I was like, hey, um, give out my thoughts and ideas and all 4 of the reviews. And I honestly tell you, I did miss doing The Young and Restless. I just wished it worked out more numbers wise. Um, because the problem is, here's the thing: it's not so much about the motivation. Yes, that is a factor. It's not just about the money, because yes, it is a factor too. But the thing is, when your video as a YouTuber, if your video is bad, even if one of your videos is bad, it's going to tank the rest of your videos and their numbers that would normally be high. So, when you watch my channel, you know that General Hospital generally takes the lead, except for every once in a while, for reasons unknown, Bold and Beautiful, like, nah, hold my beer. Um, but even now, like, if Young and the Restless didn't do good, guess what's going to wind up happening tomorrow? There's a good chance that General Hospital is not going to be at 400 views, nearly close to 500 views, like it normally is. And sometimes, yes, it does dip up and down because that's just how the number system works. But when you've been doing it for a while, and I've been doing it for 5 years, which is still insane to me, you notice that there's an erratic difference in numbers wise. And that's usually due because you're putting out more than one video or more than 2 videos, and it's a whole thing. And I know some people are like, well, just put it out anyway. Who cares about the numbers? Well, when you're sitting in this chair and you do what you do, and you kind of want to sit there and make it more of something that you just do in general, as opposed to having a second job, that stuff does matter. It's weird. It's like I don't know. There's a whole other thing I can get into it about it, but that's just the general gist. Um, yeah, sorry, super late. All right. If I don't end up doing a live stream tonight, which is probably most likely not, I will be back doing it tomorrow. Um, and we'll sit there and talk about all the stuff that wound up happening. But yeah, I'll sit there and see you in the next video.